Okay, so here's the thing. I have no self-control when it comes to kit. None. And I have adult money, which is probably not a great combo. But what it does lead to is me being able to make videos like this for you guys. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Mike, your old bbwarz, and today I want to go over my mystery wrench collection because I know they're a very common pack company and everything, and a lot of guys that do like Milsim West or the longer games where you ruck all your stuff out there, or even some of the day games where you ruck your stuff out there. I kind of want to go over my experience with my mystery wrench. Everything from a little bit larger ones like the SATL or the Wolfhound right here, which are your larger ones, or to 24-hour games maybe where you're just using an assault pack. Or maybe this is a pack you bring like out in the field for even just a day game and you use it to live out of if you're doing like a one-day scenario or something like that. So just quick overview, compare and contrast each one to each other and see what happens. See if you guys like it. Maybe you'll sway your decision to get one, not get one, because they're a little more expensive on the pack scale. There's definitely some cheaper options, but hey, I bought them all, so I just want to share that info with you guys. Alright everyone, again, welcome to the channel, and thanks for joining me on this. And please don't take this as I'm Globo Jim and I have all these mystery wrench bags and I'm better than you and I know it. Definitely not my intention. My intention is because I've gathered these, and I mean I've gathered these over the past, I'm doing mental math here, yeah, greater than 20 years that I've been building this collection up and everything, and I just want to share it with you guys because I don't know about you, but I watch videos like this whenever I'm deciding, hey, oh, that looks cool, let me autistically dive into and use this whole weaponized autism and watch every video I can about the inside, the outside, the structure of the pack. Like, if you think like that, we can be friends, so definitely drop a comment and be like, hey, I'm your friend. It'll be all good. But all right, getting into it right here. The first mystery wrench I ever bought was my lovely 3-day assault pack. All right, I'm sure if you know anything about packs and everything like that, you've heard of the mystery wrench 3-day assault pack. All right, I got this in my first tour in that fun Istan, Istan LAN that I started off with a Maxpedition, and then that really didn't fit my needs, so I ended up ordering this directly and got it there about halfway through my tour and absolutely fell in love with it. So, but to compare, because we always want a size comparison, right? You know, generally it's about the size of a normal assault pack. It's nothing, it's a little taller and a little narrower, but I always have the OG Eagle A3. All right, if you're gonna compare something to an assault pack, it's this. This is the grand staple, the quintessential 3-day, as I call it, 3-day assault pack. Because you try and live out of this for 3 days, you're probably not gonna be too comfortable. But as far as what they call a 3-day assault pack, this I think is the OGS. So as far as the size goes, comparison. Mystery wrench a little taller because again they focus a little bit more on like coming from that hiking and expedition world where they want to keep that weight a little higher and closer to the body, whereas this is just strictly a military style ruck where it takes a little bit of comfort into consideration, but the mystery wrench much more with their harness and yoke system and everything, whereas the Eagle is put some 2 straps onto it, throw it over your shoulders and go. So, but width wise, again, this is about halfway loaded. I don't have this front pouch loaded, but as far as the width goes, the mystery wrench, again, it's a little more narrow, a little taller, and then this one a little fatter, and then not as much internal organization. But that's the comparison. But we'll go over here. All right, but far as the pack itself and everything like this, they call it 4.5 pounds dry, directly from mystery wrench. This is a slightly older variant. Again, I got this in 2012, so this is an older variant where it doesn't have the VVS. The little pods that were here that come with the new ones, they're foam. It's designed to center it over armor. In the past, you could get it without it. I don't know if they offer it now without the VVS, but I got this one without it because I primarily use this as without armor. This was my everyday. This was my go to the airfield, go fly, go do whatever I need to. This was my everyday. I took it with me everywhere I went, all over the country. It's labeled as a 35-liter bag, so basically that's 2185 or 2185 cubic inch, and that's everything. You've got top pouch, little admin pouch in it, as well as the main compartment right here. And the beautiful thing about mystery wrenches is their internal organization. Their internal organization on these is phenomenal. It's not too many small pockets like some of these other ones, like 511s and stuff, where they have so many these little tiny pockets. Like here's a sunglass pouch, here's this pouch, that's almost too much. Whereas this, it keeps it pretty simple, that there are internal sleeves in here for putting equipment in, a couple zipper pouches, as well as your external pouches right here. Water bottle pouches on the sides right here. The top pouch right here, good enough. I've got like, I think in here just like a couple VS17 panels just to show the size of it. You can overload that pretty good. It balloons up pretty good, as well as the top is an admin pouch up here that has sleeves for pens. You can fit your glasses in here. Typically I just keep that with like my EDC items. My phone charger, some cabling, you know, anything you might need, my notepad, stuff like that. Just your basic, put your keys in there, all that normal everyday carry item. In the tactical world, you know, if you're just using it for like mission work and everything like that, for bbwarz, that's a great spot for batteries, your little tool kit. You can put your screwdriver or something like that, anything that'd be like quick access you might need real quick. But I have found there's a sleeve in the top right here. It fits 3-cell batteries, mint, perfect, slides right in. So for bbwarz centric, it's a pretty good idea. You got Molly on the sides here. I did usually run some sort of side pouch right here. You can throw anything from big sustainment pouch. It's 2, 4, 5 rows, 5 rows wide, 5 by 3. So you got plenty of room to put some expansion there. And the yoke system is the Mystery Ranch Futura yoke. So it's not the nice, it's not a full external frame. There's a reinforcing bar on the inside of this that allows you to adjust the yoke like any Mystery Ranch bag. It's this right here. This piece of plastic right here operates as your frame sheet. So that's what gives the bag its stability and rigidity. So it is a internally framed bag with load lifters and everything for your shoulders to get it off. The way the mystery wrenches are, especially on these, on the 3 depths, is really nice, that you actually can stow your waist belt. So if you don't want to, like, you know, for everyday use, or just, you know, you're walking out to the field and you're not rucking for a long time, you don't need a waist belt, right? That's just added stuff that's going to flop and or you might have to secure. They make this really cool idea that you just fold that, flip that back up, stuff everything away, close that, and it keeps that inside the pack, inside these side sleeves. So really cool design idea for that. Again, these are all over eBay. I've seen a lot of these on the used market and everything, because these were issued to pretty much everyone in SOCOM. Everyone in SOCOM got a mystery wrench as part of their issue during the GWAT era, and I'm pretty sure they're still issuing them out. So there's a lot of them out there. They're not cheap, fortunately. They've gone up in price. I mean, I think new I paid like $350 or $400 for this. I think on the mystery wrench website now they're like $500 or $600 now, which is kind of crazy. But newer materials and everything. The old school ones like this, the older gens, are all just 500D straight. There's no mix of materials or anything like that. This thing is just all between mesh and 500D. So again, this, and I won't lie, this fell out of a helicopter when it was flying. Well, hovering, but it fell out of a helicopter once, and it's fine. There's not a rip, there's not a tear on this. So, you know, 500D sometimes doesn't sound that thick, but it works really good. For anyone that's familiar with Mystery Ranch or this style, it does have the tri-zip, is what they call. So what's really nice is when you want to get in the top of it right here, you don't really need to unbuckle anything. You just can kind of come up to the front of it right here and it opens up. I just got a pillow in here just to give it some sizing, but don't need it. All right. But what this allows you to do is, you've got something in the bottom, you can actually open this up and get into the whole bag. You can open that up so you can get into the bottom of it. Or say you're loading it and you're trying to get like a really nice stack of everything. Everything has a place or anything like that. You can stack it all on you know, laterally like this. Close it up, zip it, and then like it's all nice and stacked up for if you're traveling or you're trying to fit a lot of stuff in there and you're not going to be, you know, open it up in the airport or anything or constantly grabbing stuff out of it. You can stack it up real nice. Showing you the internals right here. Oh god, my blanket keeps moving. All right. Internally, you've got 2 zippered pouches on the sides right here, just like that, as well as these 2 sleeves. These 2 sleeves fit Nalgene's perfectly, like the 2-liter Nalgene's. That's, I think, what they're designed for. But those slide in there perfectly, as well as just all your other, you know, mission essential needs or anything like that, just to give you a little bit of internal organization. There's some molly on the inside of it. This fits like an admin pouch really good if you need more space for cabling or any sort of small equipment like that. But overall, I will say I've had this the longest, and I have just absolutely thoroughly enjoyed using this as a everyday bag to, like, just like you're going to the airsoft field for like a weekend game or everything like that. I can throw, you know, not my whole kit in it, but like my BBs, my spare gas, my, you know, my parts kit for my gas blowback, everything. I can just throw everything in just a quick little mystery wrench like this, throw it over my shoulder, and I'm good to go. And if it's one of those like milsim days or something like that, it's a great bag to bring to your staging or to your CP or whatever you're basing your missions out of. You can just throw this there, put your water, put your food in there and everything, run your game, and just come back to it. But it's great size, great bag. Some guys can use this for no mystery. Some guys can use this for mystery ranch. Yeah, it's mystery ranch, Mike. Some guys can live out of this for a Milsim West, for using it like they're those bare bones guys that bring like very little with them. I am not one of those. If you've seen in my other video, I use a large Alice and it's like half full. So I'm not a minimalist person when I bring stuff to, especially like Milsim West, and I'm living out there for a couple of days. So I've never used this for per se a Milsim West, just because it's a little small in the carrying capacity for me. But 24-hour games, or even some of the games where like the AMS games where there's a break at night, but you're just bringing stuff out there for extended, you know, an 18-hour during the day, and then the next day is like another 12 hours, something like that. I've used this multiple times for that. Again, it's like I could talk about this thing for hours and go into more detail and everything, but that's the basics of it. Mystery Ranch 3-dep, great all-rounder 3-day assault. You know, that 30 to 35 liter sweet spot of not being too big but not being so small that it's like a plate carrier or a minimalist bag. It's just a great all-around. It's my favorite. Okay. Next up in the lineup of kind of smaller, you know, 3-day, 30, you know, let's call it 30 liter or better bags, is the Blackjack 35 LT. Now, I got this before I went to my other place that's hot and sandy in the Middle East next to the Persian Gulf, because apparently it's a thing for me. Every time I go on a new tour, I need to buy a new mystery wrench. I just realized that. Every tour I've done, I bought a new mystery wrench each time. God. Alright, again, you can't stop it. I just am obsessed with kit. But I got this before I went over there because I wanted something a little bit lighter, and I had been doing a lot of hiking and like adventuring on the civilian side of it, where I had an Osprey and I really wanted a top loader. Whereas I loved that 3-dep, I really did, but the problem is if I needed to carry anything like awkward, or I got handed something that didn't fit in the ruck and I couldn't really lash it anywheres, like bed rolls or something like that, I wanted a top loader that I could just slide it over, click it, and be done, you know. Or I have found that like when you're wearing like a big down jacket or something like that, like a level 7 or a level 7 type 2, and then you go inside, or you know, I use it outside when I'm working on an aircraft, and then I get to go inside but I still want it, trying to fit that's going to eat up half the bag. So I wanted somewhere where I could just quick lash it to the outside of it. That's why I kind of decided I wanted a top loader, versus top loading meaning like how the top is. On the 3-day assault pack, it's zippered, so you can't really stick anything in it, whereas a top loader right here is you put everything in the bag, and then this is just a flap that goes over the top. So if I need to, I can put a bunch of stuff in here and have this be a little bit high, but then you can take this and just put that, whatever that device or clothing or anything in here, and you can still carry it even though it's like external to the bag. That was my reasoning for getting this. So, Blackjack LT35. They call this one 4.1 pounds dry, 2,155 cubic inch, and 35.3 liters. So, roughly the same exact capacity as the 3-day assault pack, just much more updated, different design, as well as much different material. The 3DAPs and everything are 500D straight, 500D with just regular eye webbing as far as your molly or your attachment points. This is kind of redone, and they have that newer material. It is a mix of a little bit of 500D and mostly 330, so it is definitely thinner. I have found that this one, I've got some abrasions and a little bit of holes starting on the bottom, where the bottom is just 500, but the sides are 330. And I have found I've got two little rips over here, just from use in Iraq, kind of throwing it around, throwing it in an aircraft and everything, and it getting dragged. That this definitely doesn't have the robustness of the 3DAP. So just a little caveat on the sides, but getting back to the ruck itself. All right, same principle idea. Let's do our compare. So same thing, kind of that more taller ratio, especially with a top loader like that. Width-wise, this one does have front pouches. It does have these little accessory pouches. I don't have anything in them right now, but these do balloon out a little bit, so putting, you know, again, organization, putting something in there, you might push the weight a little bit farther out, so the pack might feel a little heavier. But itself, it's, again, you're half a pound lighter than the 3-day assault pack or a lot of the other 3-day style packs out there. This pack is very, very light. I will admit it's very light. So externally, you've got the top pouch, the top flap right here that covers it. It does have its internal pouch right here. I just got like a poncho in there just to give it some volume, but it's just empty, good plus. That's a great spot for like I fit like a level 5 jacket in there, or just kind of like what I'm wearing, like a light down jacket fits perfectly in there. Rain gear fits perfectly in there. I can do pants and a top in there. If you kind of like fold them flat, it fits perfectly in there. So good spot for quick access, quick needed items. These two front pouches right here are small accessory pouches. The front one right here is just, there's no internal organization. It's just opens up. This is just free on the inside of it. The bottom one here does have mesh netting on the inside of it. If you can see that, it has 2 spots mesh netting that are the perfect width for M4 mags. So if you wanted quick access, put some mags in there. But other than that, I think it mostly was kind of designed for small items. I did a lot of toiletries in there if I used it as an everyday ruck. But far as bbwarz and milsim goes, those are great spots for if you're running AG, for your batteries. Speed loaders can go in there great and everything. So it does have a good amount of internal organization. Externally, you got 2 bottle pouches on the side of it that do fit Nalgene 2 liters perfectly. It does fit regular USGI canteens pretty nice too, or if you have like the Nalgene ones, they fit in there really nice. And then laser cut molly on either side up here, so if you wanted to add a little bit of sustainment or pouches on the side. I have found that I ran it in Iraq like that. It was the Spiritus GP, I think it's GP mediums. Not the tall, it's a GP medium, perfectly fit over this. And that 2 little side just added just a little bit more of internal organization for small items, small devices, that just kind of plussed it up just a little bit. So I ran 2 of those on the sides and it worked mint. I had a couple of the other guys in my unit too that bought the same bag and kind of ran it the same way, and they were pretty happy with it. Lasted all throughout their tour and everything too. 2 lash points on the sides right here for compression, or if you need to put items on the side of it. I've used this for 24-hour games where I've put my my goose, and just lashed it right onto the backpack, and it held fine. Made it a little lopsided, but it held it fine with these smaller straps. So definitely capable of carrying some weight. All right. The one cool thing that is about that makes this more of a mystery ranch rather than like an Osprey or some of these other companies that are making top loaders is it does have a full zip, so it's like a tri-zip. Zipper right here, you can actually go down the whole side of the bag and get access internally. So just like the 3DAP or the tri-zip, other mystery ranches, you can still access the bottom of your bag if you need to, or if you like to, you know, load your bag specifically from bottom to top with nice folded clothing or anything, or using it as a travel bag or something like that, you can use the side zip right there, and it opens up the whole bag, what you get inside of it, and and see your contents, or if you need to get something for the bottom or everything like that. So really cool design, and it has this little lock up here, so it's T-fitting, and you put that through, and that prevents the zipper from creeping down. So kind of a really cool, really good design. Good on you, Mystery Ranch. Storm shield, you can close that up in the top so that keeps the water and everything out of it. And then internally, there is a little bit of internal organization as far as front pouches. Yet again, pillow volume. So on the inside, this is the front flap, if you can tell. You've got one good zippered pouch right here on the front, as well as another two on the sides right here for internal water or something like that. They're open, but they have a little elastic on the top. You can drop items in there. A little bit of molly right here, as well as this right here, which is perfect for, I found it like to fit my my iPad mini perfectly. Slid right in there and worked fine. So that is the Blackjack LT35. Again, you can kind of tell it's like that, the 330D, like it's definitely like flattens down really good. It's definitely a lighter material, kind of. Don't feel like you're going to break it. It's not like that super light like the Ospreys or like some of this, the Pack Light or anything. It's not that thin, but 330 is definitely a thinner material. But again, even for getting thrown around in Iraq, the only abrasions I have are kind of like on the corners right here. So I guess that's typical wear and tear. But again, my 3DAP I've had since 2012 and there's like nothing wrong with it. This one was about a year in Iraq and it did get some abrasions and everything. So just FYI for your decisions. But much lighter. So if you're a weight weenie, you're a guy really counting pounds and everything, this is a great option. Okay, getting into the bigger ones now. So these wouldn't be considered like an assault bag or like an everyday carry. I mean, I wouldn't everyday carry this. I mean, maybe if you're someone who brings, you know, a week's worth of clothes on you every day, but other than that, these are a much, like these next few ones, this one and my my HiDice Wolfhound are bigger. They're more designed for that sustainment style. Your Milsim West, your AMS if you're doing an overnight one, Gun Gamer, like any of those long format style bbwarz games that you ruck out or you bring all your equipment with you. I think this would be a better option for something like that. Or if you're getting ready to, you know, hunting trip, hiking trip, anything like even civilian style hiking, you know, your military bags are going to be a little heavier, but I will say the Mystery Ranches, the way they're designed, they use the same yoke and harness and shoulders and everything as their civilian ones. It's just a different material. Most of the civilian stuff is your Synthwave, your Pack Light, you know, it's the materials they use are much lighter, but they're not as abrasion or not as, you know, durable. Because most the civilian hiking bags are not, you know, going out into the battle space or hiking around Afghanistan for a year straight and it's your source to live. So, but comparison, again, taller, a little bit bigger, you know. The capacity that they're calling it, this one has almost like 20 or 30 liters more than your Eagle, your 3-day here. So okay, they call this, and I've heard them call that the assault ruck or the assault ruck. Because it's definitely not like a sustainment ruck. You know, your sustainment rucks are your 8,000 liter gigantic or 8,000 cubic inch, you know, 80 liter bags that, you know, you can, you know, put your house in and everything. This kind of blends that. It still has a decent amount of space and load carriage ability and ability to carry the weight with how the harness is and everything, yet still not be so big that you're trying to maneuver, you know, make a big movement to target or a big movement and have like a gigantic, like, you know, Molly 4000 or like the old Molly rucks and everything. They were just huge. They have their point, they have their purpose, but maybe not necessarily for bbwarz, you know. We like the Pack Light, right? So, from Mystery Ranch, they're calling the saddle at 6.8 pounds, dry, 3,500 cubic inch, which leads to it being a 56 liter bag of 500D complete construction. There are two versions that I've seen out here. This is an older version. The newer version, The BVS on it is the foam ones. These are the old tube ones. I have seen ones where they're about half the size, and they're the foam ones, as well as they redesigned the lid and everything. And there's an extra strip of moly and then places to lash things to. But overall, the dimensions and the size of the ruck have stayed the same. So I hope this will work if you're looking at one of the newer versions. It's similar. But this is a pretty straightforward bag as comparison to Blackjack or the 3DAP and everything. Not as much internal organization. It still has some, but it's definitely designed to just kind of like throw a bunch of equipment in that you need to hit a target, or you need to sustain yourself for a patrol that's greater than 24-48. You know, like they label this as a 72-hour, but we all know that's carrying the very minimal. And I mean, I'm an overpacker, so I will freely admit that I could not last that long. But I have used this for a Milsim West. This was my first Milsim West ever. I actually used this bag. So, and I was able to pretty much fit everything I needed to. I had sustainment pouches on the side of it, but I also incredibly overpacked for that. So, if you're curious about Milsim West and what to bring and all that, I've got another video if you want to watch that. But, saddle, right here. Top loader. Good amount of space inside of this right here. I fit a whole level 7 jacket, meaning like the big poofy gray jacket. I fit that in here, plus a wet weather top and bottom and jacket in this top lid right here. It's a pretty gracious big lid, and it gives you a bunch of extra space. So if I wanted to, I could carry my sleeping mat or a sleeping bag right here externally, and then this clamps over it, and then you can cinch it down, meaning that is what I call a top loader bag. All right, you got the 2 pods on the front of it that are slightly unique with the way they load, but it's designed that you can hold the bag like this, open it up, and get your items out of. So that's why it's kind of designed like that. So if you swing it off your shoulder, you can open it up while still kind of holding it, close it up, and then swing it back over your shoulder. So that's how that's designed right there. So you got 2 of those little pods on the front right here that can hold a bunch of stuff for, you know, gas gun guys. That holds a cylinder of gas perfectly. I sometimes like would roll up my socks, my t-shirts, everything. Food, anything can go in here. The first Milsim West I used this for, I brought like a jet boil, and that little cylindrical fuel cell fit perfectly in here. So that's kind of what it's designed for. It does have little bottle pouches on the sides, but they are the smallest thing ever. They only go down like about that far, so I don't really know. I think that's more designed to like put a, you know, if you got like a 240 or you're an A gunner or something like that, putting your spare barrel in there or something like that. I don't think it's really a bottle pouch, because, you know, you can fit a bottle in there, but it's only covering like about that much of it. So I think this is more designed if you're going to carry equipment on side of it that you lash to. With these right here, I think that's more what those are designed for. This does, just like Mystery Ranch has, this does have the tri-zip feature. If I can find my zipper, that you can open up and get into the bag right here. However, it does not fully clamshell open. It stops at the top right here, so it basically just allows you access in inside of it, but it doesn't split the whole ruck apart, unlike the Blackjack and your 3DAP. Just an FYI. Get rid of my pillow. And then internally, on the sides, right here, you've got a long sleeve that you can put equipment in and everything to keep it separated. You've got those on both sides right there, as well as in the middle, right here. There's a spot for a radio. It's designed for a 117G, but I've also actually found that the 117G right there is the perfect size for an MRE. So if you want to secure your one bag of MRE in there, it's the same size as the radio bag. But overall, it's a pretty simple bag. Futura yoke, so same yoke as both of the other rucks right there. It is adjustable. You pull that plastic sheet out, you rip the Velcro inside of it, and you can bring this yoke up and down to get your sizing right for your back. And then if you're using the waist belt, the waist belt on this is stowable. So this comes out right here, and if you need to, if you don't want to use the waist belt, it has a place for you to be able to stow it. So some people like waist belts, some people don't. I always run my waist belt, so that way it gets a little weight off my shoulders, but if you don't want to use it, it does have a place for you to stow it. other than that, it's a great simple ruck, especially if you're looking for something with a little more capacity. You're doing a couple days, you're going out into the mountains, or doing a Milsim West or some sort of long format game. This is a great option that's relatively, for the Mystery Ranch scale, inexpensive. I found these from $200 to $250 all day long on eBay and some on TaxSwap, or a lot of the Milsim West Discord. Like, there's always guys selling these, and they're generally not incredibly expensive. For the ruck you're getting, that price point, it's a very, very good ruck. It's a very comfortable ruck. Even with armor, it does have these. It's called the bbwarz. I think they call it the bolstered ventilation system, where it kind of centers itself. Again, I'm an Alice frame guy when I'm wearing armor. I do have another video if you guys want to check it out. Check out my page. I do have one going over all my big rucks that I use for Milsim West and how they integrate with armor. But you can wear this with armor. It's just, I have found that the Alice ruck frame is more comfortable, especially if you're using a waist belt. But not to say that you can't use this, and it's much better than like a ruck that was completely not designed for armor, like, you know, a civilian ruck or something that's like designed to just fit on your back. You know, wearing that with a plate carrier or anything is terrible. It's just gonna stuff that plate right in your back. But other than that, again, great ruck. Just simple, forward. It's a no frills. You know, there's a couple little cool things like with that center zip right there, and then the outside pods right here being side zip access versus like top access. But other than that, it's a very no frills, simple, forward way to carry your equipment and execute your mission. We started with the littlest. We're gonna end with the biggest here, and this is pretty new to me. I will say this is my latest acquisition from the internet. That is the Mystery Ranch forums. And no, wait, I got this one on eBay. Sorry, I lied to you. Nope, eBay. But I had been looking for this one for a very long time. This is a very unique and rare Mystery Ranch that was never sold by them. It was actually a JSOC contract. But this is called the HiDice Wolfhound, and it was designed off of one of their taller civilian rucks that JSOC wanted something for their forward air controllers and all the PJs that were running their comms and needed sustainment, as well as being able to run a man-pack radio, whether it be a 117 or one of the Raytheons or one of the ASIPs, or, you know, all those big comms that aren't like the man portable, or not man portable, they're man portable, the like 152, 148 size radios. So that's where the initial fielding of this came from. But I have found, I got to see this through a friend of mine who is in the TACP community, and I was like, hey, you want to get rid of that? And he was like, yeah, no, I love this thing. So I've been searching high and low for it for a while, and I finally found one for not $1 million. So ended up picking it up, but sorry. Digress, long story how I got it, but I'm very excited because I love rare mystery ranches. Definitely on the bigger aspects and the ruck side of it, not necessarily a salt pack. But like all of them, we'll give it our little comparison to our 3-day. Again, much taller, but still maintains that kind of lower profile, keeping that weight close to your back versus all the way out. Big difference, comparison between these and some of the other ones is the frame system. All the other Mystery Ranches I've shown you today have the Futura yoke, which means that it's that plastic sheet that is the kind of the stability of the pack, or the framing of the pack is just that center plastic sheet. This pack here is mounted on the Mystery Ranch Nice frame, which is a stays, I mean it has a stays as well as the Futura yoke. So it's almost like a external frame, and then the pack goes onto it. It's external, internal, it's a hybrid frame because it is external to pack, but it's internal, that how it connects to the pack and everything like that. It's not like an Alice pack where you have like this big metal external thing. So I will say this is the most comfortable frame system I've ever used without armor. We'll say that, but still being in that tactical mindset of not using an Osprey or some sort of like, you know, civilian hiking oriented ruck, that's still mission focused but brings in that operator comfort and usability of it. The Nice frame has been fantastic. I used to have a 6500 that I did many hikes on, like, you know, I'm from New England, so the White Mountains and everything, I've gone out there on that, and I will say it feels just as good as some of those very high-end Gregory's, Osprey's, civilian style rucks, I will say it is the most comfortable and tunable. You can adjust the height of this, you can adjust the height of your load lifters, you can adjust your waistband, everything. So it's just like that civilian style adjustment to keep the operator or the guy who's wearing it as comfortable as possible. But from Mystery Ranch, let's get it heavier at 7.1 pounds. It is all 500D construction, but it does have things like seam sealed zippers and everything, so a little bit heavier than your typical, heavier than the saddle and everything. Saddle was 6.8, this one's 7.1, so you know, 0.3 of a pound, but hey, ounces equal pound, pounds equal pain, right? From Mystery Ranch, they're calling it 3,900 cubic inch as at 59 liters. 59 by my math it was 61, but they labeled it as 59. So and like I said, it does have that nice frame. The frame itself is like double the weight of the Futura yoke because it has the stays and everything onto it and all the extra material on the yoke system, or on the on the frame system, compared to just a yoke system. So you gain a little bit of weight there. However, it allows you to take this frame off, and if you wanted to use it on a different ruck like the 6500 or some of these other ones that are nice frame compatible, you can just have one nice frame and you can disconnect this in probably a minute. It's very easy. It's just a couple buckles and one strap. But getting in the ruck itself, again, more of that sustainment style ruck, but assault sustainment, not a giant large Alice, big malice, or you know, the Mystery Ranch is 6500, which is a 6500 cubic inch, which is closer to that 70 liter. You know, that thing's about that tall. It's a gigantic ruck. So all the same principles as all the other Mystery Ranches. It does have that tri-zip system where you can just open the top right here. You can rip open the top, expose the top, as well as bring that center down, everything like that, to expose the whole inside of the bag itself. Nice thing about this one, it does have these little side pouches right here, which are kind of cool. Open these guys up right here. You know, I just got my tactical slippers in here right now, but this is an independent pocket. However, it does have the ability to do pass-through. So if you are running some sort of comms or anything that needs to go through, like you put an external battery here, powering something on the inside of it, you can connect internally there too. But I have found that this is the perfect size for an MRE or smaller sustainment supplies and everything like that. It's a great kind of, it keeps it in flow with the bag and everything like that, but it's more of an internal pouch, but it does billow out. Like you can tell right here, like I have nothing in this one. I have my other tactical slipper in there, but you can tell it billows out a little bit, but it actually more billows internally. Billows meaning like where all the main volume of it comes from. Molly on the bottom right here, so if you needed to add a little bit more, an external pouch or anything like that, it gives you the option right there. It's a 3x5 right here, so for, again, that Spiritus pouch would probably fit perfectly on there. Smaller GP pouch, entrenching tool pouch, something like that would go perfectly on the bottom right here. Lashing points on the front right here that are independent, so these guys, these cross ones, are stitched in right here, and they're independent than the side ones. So again, if you're carrying extra equipment, you've got, you know, you're the guy who's carrying the M72 or the Carl or, you know, the machine gun barrel or something like that, you can lash it right to the side right here, no problem. It does not have like a water bottle pouch though, so you might have to fab something, or if you're running a pouch here, you might have it go into there. This does not have water bottle pouches on the external side of it, so unlike all the other MRs. All right. Getting into the internal organization right here, you do have top pouch right here. Like I said, I've got a down jacket in there right now. Put that in there, perfectly fine. There's still plenty of extra room in there. No no internal organization in this pouch. It's just pretty much empty in here. It does not have, like on the 3DAP, it does not have the top admin style pouch in there. This is just a simple singular hollow pouch. One little thing, it does have a pass-through on the top right here, so if you need to get in and you are like using this for its intended function and running an ASIP or a 117 or a SATCOM or Raytheon or anything inside of here, you can gain access to the top of it right here and actually adjust the controls without having to open the whole ruck. So, kind of cool. I don't know if I'll ever use it like that because we can't own those radios, but you never know. Again, I'm also a comms nerd if you've seen my other videos. Again, why I wanted a comms backpack. Yet again. By the way, if you ever join the Army and deploy, buy yourself kid sheets for your beds and everything that you use on deployment. It just brings it all together. Brings the room together and everything. It's more fun. Alright. Internally on this guy, again, full width zipper right here. Some unique items in here that I think are comm specific, but as far as usability stuff, you've got 2 sleeves on this one right here. So the full, like the bottle sleeve on the side right here, as well as another one right here that's designed to hold antennas and everything. But this could be equally good for either, you know, batteries or anything like that. This side, same thing. You've got full sleeve on that one, as well as down the bottom you've got almost like a water bottle pouch. It's about that high and about that round that would fit almost like a USGI canteen in there perfectly, or yet again an MRA. The big radio pouch on it right here, as well as a kind of cool thing as far as you can put your ASAT batteries down here. I don't know what I'm going to use that for, but it is Velcro and removable, so that's kind of cool. If you're not running, you know, what are they, 1680 batteries? I forget the actual mil spec on them, but basically your ASIP or your 117 batteries. You can, it has a spot where you put 2 of them right there, so they're easily accessible, as well as another bottle pouch on that side. So not an incredible amount of internal organization in this. It's just mostly the sleeves right here, but a good amount of space that for if you're doing your Milsim West, you could stack all your gear, you know, your wet weather, your sleeping gear, your sustainment stuff. You can stack it all in here and keep it closed, but be like, hey, I only want to get to a certain thing. You open up this middle compartment right here, grab what you need, put it back in, close your middle compartment. That's why I really love the Mystery Ranches. This tri-zip design, it just enables you to have that internal organization and get to that piece of equipment that, hey, might be at the bottom. You know, you try and forecast for it, but oh, I need the piece of gear that's at the bottom, you know. So bring that zip down, grab that piece of equipment out, and you're good. So this is the HiDice Wolfhound. These are pretty rare. Again, I saw one on eBay and I just found it at a great deal. It was a guy, I don't know if he didn't know what he had, but I'm very excited that I was able to finally find one of these. I've been looking for one of these for a pretty long time, and just so happened that it came up. And then that's the thing about sometimes when you're into like niche kit or rare kit or something like that, or you know, impression gear or something like that, you're doing a specific impression, is you take your time, you keep searching, and occasionally it just comes together, and it just it pops up, and you're able to get what you want. So, okay everyone, once again, thank you for joining me and letting me pontificate to you about nylon, because we all know I love nylon. Love it. Whoever invented nylon, thank you so much. Sorry, I know I'm weird, but hey, if you made it this far and you're watching, thank you for embracing my weirdness and absorbing it. So, once again, this video, we just went over my collection of Mystery Ranch assault bags and sustainment rucks. We went over the 3-day assault pack, the Blackjack LT35, as well as the SATL and the Wolfhound HiDice, or HiDice Wolfhound bag. So, if you have any other questions about the bags, or you'd like to see either different angles or photos or videos or anything like that, leave a comment. I'll try and get back to you, you know, make a specific video for you or something like that, because I love watching these videos about, you know, they're an investment, right? They're not cheap bags, you know. You want to get as much info as you can before you purchase it. So if you want any more info on any of these bags, please let me know. Leave a comment. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And until next time, or I decide that I'm like, oh, I have way too many of these, let's make a video about it, I will see you. Again, if I see you on the bbwarz field, hey, bring that cool backpack over and let me check it out, man. I'd love to see it, and I'd love to meet you. Until next time, guys, see you later. Have a great night.